Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here, and today I am really proud to present two of the finest stage pianos in the world, the Kawai MP11 and what they call its little brother, the Kawai MP7. And as we go through this video, you'll see that the MP7 is not so little of a brother. It's actually pretty big. Now, the reason they call this the flagship Kawai piano, this MP11, is because this is the pianist's piano. If you are a classical pianist or a jazz pianist or anybody whose main forte is piano, this is the keyboard for you. Because not only is this just a keyboard that specializes in piano, this has the finest keyboard action in the world. Now these keys, and the reason this is so big, and let me show you a model here. This is the model of the Grand Feel piano keyboard action on the Kawai MP11. And you'll see how long this is. These are wooden key sticks, the longest key sticks for a digital piano. They're wooden. They have what's called ivory touch coating over here. And the reason it's so long and the reason this is so big, and you can see that this takes up the whole thing right here, is these are balanced on a pivot point right here. It's kind of like a seesaw action. So you can see what's going on over here with hammer action and all that. So anyway, it makes it feel the closest to a acoustic concert grand piano that you can get in a digital. In fact, this keyboard action is even better than a lot of the acoustic grand concert pianos that I have played. They've done a fine job with this, and Kawai is one of the two manufacturers that make real pianos as well as digital pianos. Yamaha is the other. And I've tried them both, and as far as I'm concerned, in this price range, there isn't anything better, including Yamaha. Okay, and when you get to the little brother over here, they use what's called the RH2 or responsive hammer feel for the keyboard action. It's the same coating on the top where you've got that ivory touch feel, so it feels really good. And even though these are plastic keys and they don't go the extent or length of the key sticks of this pianist's piano, they do feel really good. And I've got to tell you, I used to love Casio. I still do. The previous series, it has got some of the best feeling keyboard action out there on the market today, and at a price that's unbelievable, under $1,000. Well, this feels even better than that. And this keyboard action is so much more worth that feel as a pianist. All right, now let me give you a definition. A pianist and a keyboardist are two different things. A pianist plays piano, and they play it well. They might play keyboards too, but their forte, like me, is piano. So that's why the wooden key sticks, the extra long length, the pivot point, and the seesaw action, all that stuff makes it feel just like a real piano. It even has what's called let off, which is that subtle feeling when you press a key very slowly, you'll feel a slight resistance halfway down. That's called let off. You've got the same thing here. And both of these keyboards have what's called triple sensor technology. So you have 3 sensors here instead of 2, and that helps a lot when you're doing fast or repetitious notes. And I have another video that compares the Casio previous series, which also has triple sensor technology, but it's not quite the same as this. So look it up on my YouTube channel. I've got it compared to the artist Kurzweil Artist SE, and also to the Kawai series as well. All right, now, aside from the keyboard feel, these two keyboards are laid out a little bit different. They're similar, but let's go through the ins and outs. And over here, you'll see that the ins and outs on both of these are pretty much identical, except when it comes to the outputs on the MP11, those are TRS cables, they're balance cables, so you can run those a lot longer without having to worry about interference with hum or radio signals or anything else like that, any other kind of outside interference. This doesn't have that. This has your standard TS cables, so you're good for about 6 feet, maybe a little bit more. And I might point out, even though this is $1,800 US, the Nord Stage 2 or the Nord Stage 2EX is almost $5,000, and it too does not have balanced outputs. It's the same kind of TS outputs as this. So you don't need to worry about that. The quality is going to be there. But you can do longer runs with this. This also has a pair of XLR outputs for left and right. So you can do long runs with that too, and you can go to a separate kind of input source, like whether you're using stage monitors, or you're using a recorder, or you're going to the front of the house, or whatever it is. That's what this is for, a second pair of outputs, so that you can route that to whatever you want. And because when you're using long runs, you might get some hum or whatever, so they have this ground switch over here. It's called a ground lift. So you put that on and it eliminates the ground lift. All right, so other than that, the inputs and outputs are identical on both of these. The sound engine for the pianos and stuff like that, identical. Over here, boy, that feels so good to a pianist. But it's the same thing. It's the exact same sound engine on both of these. Now here's where the difference happens. On the MP11, you have 40 voices on here. Other manufacturers called it other things like instruments, patches, voices, whatever you want to call it. It all means the same thing. There is 40 different voices on here. And you've got 12 different kinds of piano, 12 different kinds of electric piano, and 16 different kinds of what they call sub. So this subsection is broken up further into strings, pads, harpsichord mallets, and bass. So when you're doing piano, which is what you heard here, let me turn the piano off and go to the subsection and turn on harpsichords and mallets. You might recognize something like this. Okay, that's the beginning of Fixing a Hole from the Beatles. But all the sounds they have on this is first rate. But there's only 40 of them, and you will notice that the organ is missing from here. And there's kind of a reason for that. When you have the best piano action in the world on a digital slab piano like this, organ just does not fit with that kind of action. It doesn't fit with a piano action. Organ is typically light synth action, or what they call waterfall or whatever, but it's not wooden key sticks balanced on a pivot point with a seesaw action and so on and so forth. So organ is not going to work with this. This does not have that action on the MP7. This has a little different action, and boy, this action feels really good for a piano. Really good. Not as good as this, But compared to, say, the Casio Privia series, which is an excellent, excellent action, I love it, this is even better. I even did a video about all of these. Both of these are triple sensor technology actions. So is the Casio Privia series. But on the Casio Privia, with the triple sensor, you've got three sensors. You've got the first one, you got the second, and the third. So you can do repetitions really fast on either of these pianos, but you can do it faster on the Kawais because as far as the Casios are concerned, that middle sensor is up near the top. In order to do those really fast repetitions, you have to bring it up past that middle sensor before you can play the same key again. So, and it's a big difference right there. There are videos that I've done. You can check them out. It's the Casio Privia series versus the Kurzweil Artist SE or versus the Kawai MP11. Now, as far as the Kawai MP7, it is advertised as having 256 different voices or sounds or patches or instruments, whatever you want to call it. And those are all first rate. But in another video that I've done, I'll show you how to get to a hidden bank of another 128 sounds that are built into this for a total of 384 sounds. That additional bank of 128 sounds is a general MIDI bank, which a lot of keyboard manufacturers are starting to get away from, which is really a shame because I use a lot of those general MIDI sounds in a classic rock band that I'm in. Things like Seashore or Ocean Waves for things like Grand Funk Railroad's I'm Your Captain, or a telephone sound for the Monkees' Daydream Believer, and a lot of other things like the recorder, which you don't really have in either of these, but the Rolling Stones used a recorder in Ruby Tuesday. So with that general MIDI sound bank, I can get to a lot of stuff that's not built into today's modern pianos. So really. Now, the other cool thing is both of these come with a music rest. So when you have music, sheet music, notes, whatever, scribbles, you can set this up right here. So you got a built-in music rest right there. And you can actually put your tablet or your phone on there. But it actually fits on both models. And that is a really cool thing because a lot of manufacturers, Nord and Kurzweil, will sell you an optional music rest for around $100 or more. And some manufacturers like Korg, and even with the Casio Privia PX5S, you can't even get a music rest at all, which kind of defeats the purpose of being portable if you need a music rest to hold your tablet or your music or your smartphone or whatever, because you're going to have to bring a separate music stand. Kind of defeats the purpose. Now you're bringing two things instead of one. And as an added bonus, with either of these, the pedals are included. Both of these support half pedaling. The pedal that comes with the MP11 is a triple pedal. So you've got the standard three pedals that you've got on a regular piano. And over here, you've got just the damper pedal, which is all I really use anyway. I don't use the other two pedals. And it's a really nice one. And they both support half pedaling, which a lot of boards don't. Both of these also are 256 note polyphony. Very important today. Take something like the Kurzweil Forte, which is about $4,000 street price, and it only has 128 note polyphony. That's compare that to this at 256, either one of these, and you got twice the polyphony for a lot less price. All right, now the Kawai MP11 has 3 different sections, and if you're familiar with the Nord Stage 2 or Nord Stage 2EX, it has 3 different sections too. Their 3 sections are different than these 3 sections. They have piano, they have organ, and they have synth. Over here, you have piano, electric piano, and sub. So whatever one of these you choose, and you can choose to layer all 3 at once. Basically, you pick a piano, you pick electric piano, you pick a sub. You don't have to pick anything except one, maybe just piano. But you can layer things, and it's really easy to do. So in this respect, you've got 3 different tracks or channels, like I like to call it. And in addition to that, this is a really nice master controller, because you've got 4 zones that are labeled MIDI out: zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. So in addition to the 3 built-in sounds that you can layer, you can also control up to 4 external MIDI instruments, whether it's on your computer as a soft synth or a virtual piano or another keyboard or another MIDI device. You've basically got up to 7 things you can control here: 3 built-in sounds and 4 external devices. You come over here to the MP7, and it's laid out a bit more like a sound mixer. So you've got 4 sliders over here, and each one of these, I'll call them tracks, where each track can have its own sound. So track 1, you set it up for piano. Track 2, you set it up for strings. And track 3, you set it up for something else like bass. Track 4, maybe you're controlling an external instrument, but each one of these can control either an internal sound or an external sound or both. And it's super easy to set that up. So in total, you can control up to 8 different instruments with this board: 4 internal and 4 external. Okay? So layering with either of these is super easy. Splits with either of these, super easy. You tell it what the lower key and the upper key for the zone that you want to set that split up for. Real easy to do. And as far as either of these goes, yeah, within the 4 separate zones that you've set up for splits, let's say you've got this part of the piano set for one instrument, this part set for another, this part set for a third, and this part set for a fourth, and you don't want like a flute to be set up down here and to be playing in this range. You want it set up to here. Yeah, well, you can shift it so that it plays up in this range even though you've set it up down here. So that's pretty cool too. And again, 72 pounds versus like 46 pounds. And the difference is phenomenal. Even though this is 46 pounds, it's not that heavy. You put it in a soft gig case or a gig bag with wheels, and it's really a piece of cake to transport. Of course, if you're going to use a hard case with wheels, you're adding another 20 to 30 pounds, and then it's not so easy. Okay? So that's basically it for both of these. That's, in a nutshell, the differences between these two. Other than that, they both have the same functionality. And, oh, one more thing. Tone wheel organs on the MP7. Unlike other piano keyboards, it covers all the 9 organ stops. and it does it in real time, and it does it in a real creative way where these sliders here control the first 4 organ stops. These knobs over here labeled A, B, C, D control the next 4. So now you're controlling 8. And then the minus and plus keys, or no and yes keys, control the 9th one. All in real time, and on the screen the whole time that you are playing this tone wheel organ, it shows you the position of each one of those stops, and you can control the rotary and so on and so forth. It is just really well done. This is one of the best organs, tone wheel organs, that I have heard and played on a slab keyboard. So that's pretty much it for, in a nutshell anyway, for comparing these two. If you know the MP7 or you know the MP11, you know the other. The controls and everything else is pretty much the same. There's other videos that I've done that go into more detail on both of these, so look those up and check them out. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.